What's up, everybody? Jason here with another review. I'm here to talk about The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Episode 5. I'm going to be talking some spoilers, so if you haven't seen this week's episode, head on over to Prime Video, check it out. But if you've already seen it or spoilers don't matter to you, you've been warned, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. So we're about, at this point now, there's 3 more episodes left in the season. It's definitely building towards the battle for the Southlands. And what I think is interesting is that it seems that a lot of characters in this show, in this specific episode, are having to deal with come to the crossroads, the choice between what they want or, their desire versus what they have to do, Halbrand has to choose between the life that he thinks that he wants and, his duty as the, heir, the king of the Southlands, as it's being, about to be overrun by orcs in Sauron's ultimate plan to take over. Elrond is having to choose between his duty to save the elven race versus his loyalty, the oath that he made to Durin. And Nori is having to, after, everybody realizing all the good things that the stranger has done for them, having protected them from a wolf attack, but in doing so, injuring himself, and conjuring that ice to protect himself with Nori, to heal himself with Nori, kind of getting caught in that, getting caught up in that ice and then being blasted when he alleviates it. She's kind of frightened now. So she's not, she's kind of realizing that she's in over her head, because not only does she not know what he's capable of, but he doesn't know what he's capable of either. Personally, I'm still convinced that this is Gandalf, but a lot of things are starting to fall into place and make sense, but I don't like sticking with, I don't like going, this is what's going to happen when I make predictions, because usually I'm wrong. So, anyway, I personally think that the most endearing relationship of the show so far is the one between Elrond and Durin, because it's just, despite their duties to their respective races, dwarves and elves, and just the tension that's been known to have between those two races of Middle Earth, they're still loyal to each other, as friends. And just, that's, to me, I personally think that is one of the most, again, endearing relationships of the series so far. I think it's also, Isildur is also an interesting character, just in the fact that he clearly has his own wants and desires, but at the same time, after having really messed up by having himself and his friends ejected from the Sea Guard, and really just, kind of leaving that in disgrace, he's trying desperately to, reclaim his honor and the honor of his family, and really also the approval of his father, by trying to join this expedition. But Elendil is not convinced. He's just like, you had your chance and you blew it. But after that moment with the Chancellor's son, after trying to sabotage the ships in the expedition, that it was kind of like that moment of truth where he had to, he stepped up and did what he did what was right, and ultimately was, kind of sort of rewarded. He was given a spot on the expedition. One thing I think is interesting is that Waldrag, the Sauron loyalist who is trying to convince the people that that's the right thing to do, is not really, I don't think he's really realizing what he's actually in for, because, Sauron doesn't reward people. I mean, he murders them, and he enslaves them. So I don't know, that whole dynamic I find to be just fascinating, but also heartbreaking, because it's like, you're thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be great, but then you're like, oh no, this is what you have to do. I just, that to me, that one to me frustrates me, because it's just like, you can't rely on Sauron, but that just shows the desperate situation that the people of the Southlands are in, that they're even willing to, side with the enemy. And I just also think that it really kind of reminds me a lot of the Helm's Deep situation in the Two Towers, where the people of the Southlands are in this fortress, and they're up against unsurmountable odds with this army of orcs approaching, ready to decimate the population so they can begin consuming the Southlands into what inevitably will be Mordor. So I think this episode does a really, really excellent job laying some of the groundwork, putting some of the characters in some very difficult situations. Some of them finding that by doing what they're meant to do versus what they want to do, that they're being, that they'll ultimately be rewarded not by what they think they want, but by what they're meant to do, and I think that's very, very fascinating. I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode of the Lord of the Rings of Power down in the comments. I like hearing from you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell to get updates on all my future videos. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at callmejsumner, I'd be happy to chat with you about movies, TV there. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, bye.